Hello, everyone. This is Demia Avery in conjunction with ConnectCapeFear.com. And today we're joined by someone who helps businesses and brands uncover their voice, sharpen their image, and connect with their ideal audience. He brings creativity, marketing muscle, and deep commitment to partnerships. Please welcome Stephen Bond of Bonsai
Hey,
Marketing.
it's good,
Welcome.
great to be here with you, Demia. Thank you.
Awesome. Now, Stephen, you built your agency around helping businesses define their mind, body, and voice.
Right.
What's that actually mean to you when we say that?
Gotta get my caffeine going. So essentially, when we started about 16, 17 years ago, we didn't have the mind, body, voice lexicon or verbiage in our culture, but we noticed that there were like these human characteristics
Hmm.
that people needed to start building relationships, and they were mind, body, voice is how we define them. The mind being a personality, the body being an image or look, and the voice being a message or narrative. And we said, why should that be absent when a brand is working to build a relationship with an audience?
Right.
So we started to define what that looks like in brands. What's the brand's personality? It's what does it stand for? What's it mean? What's
Yeah.
it, what's its characteristic from that angle? What's its image, its aesthetic, its look, and then what's its voice? What's the message? What's the narrative it's trying to build with its audience? And that's how we came up with it and started to evolve and develop these living brands that with their audience as the audience would grow in terms of that relational connectivity, so would the brand.
Hmm.
And people change and so should the serving those people. So we really focus on the personification of what a brand is.
Interesting, because you were talking about that things change. So, do you ever get like a customer that maybe you've been working them for with them for quite a while, and they have a definitive brand? This is that, and then things change in their business, and then you have to redo their whole brand all over again. Is that something that
Yeah, we
exists?
see that quite a bit, and it's not because what they have developed is bad or not good. It's just that brands, as people grow, markets change, they evolve, and what appeals to a market 5 years ago might not
Hmm.
appeal to a market today. So as you're, it sounds a little strange, but brands are trying to court people. They're trying to court an audience. So you need to consider what are the connective pieces that my audience is looking for today, not what we started out with. So
Yeah.
yeah, we call it a brand evolution. I don't like to say rebrand. That's a
Yeah.
scary word for a
y-
lot of
Yeah.
businesses, but we do come in and we really start with a brand review and say, okay, where are we at today as an entity?
Okay.
Again, what do we stand for? What do we look like? How do we sound? Not to us, but to our audience.
Got
Um,
it.
and in those cases, it can be a lot of fun. It can be challenging
Hmm.
because you're really starting from the point of we have relationships, but the relationships usually when a business comes to us for that is because they're losing that connectivity in the relationship.
Mm.
Either they're seeing a fall off in customers or the customer loyalty is starting to wane,
Right.
and it's because the relational piece, that piece that kept people leaning in and coming back, it starts to weaken as they evolve in their wants, needs,
Yeah.
and must-haves when they're working with business. So
That's interesting.
yeah.
Now, you guys offer services, everything from like logos and websites and things like that.
Yes, yeah. So all the tools and infrastructure of a brand, the components or assets we develop, but
Okay.
we don't really touch that portion of it until we've defined
Mm.
why we're developing it. Why are we doing, if it's a build of a logo, or if it's a website, or if it's one of our video content pieces for commercials or digital, um, there's an essence to it, and it has to be something. It has to be production and content with purpose. That's our thing, and we find purpose from behavioral science is giving people what they can connect with most, and over a decade and a half, it's just always been those three: personality, image, and message is what people build relationships around, at least the starting points of a relationship. And
Yeah.
then obviously the two entities within the relationship grow
Yeah.
based on different likenesses, things like that.
Now, what's the process? Because say if I'm a customer and I don't know what my brand is, like,
Yeah,
and
no,
I've met people that it's like, what actually is a brand? You know what I mean? So, what is the process when people actually come to you?
that's a great question, and there is a formula, but it's a little different. I
Mm.
mean, the old saying, it's all been done before, that does apply to a degree,
Hmm.
even in the business world. But what that business's experience might be a little different from the previous business we work with. So the process for us is first, it's putting everything out there from how the business presents itself. So when I say everything, we don't dig too deep into operations. We will after we've built an identity system that is now built to bring in your today's audience closer. We will look at the correlation between the lead and then sales conversion. That's like a phase two, phase three.
Mm-hmm.
But the very first part of the process is just seeing what we've got. I mean, it's kind of like an identity manager. You come in and you say, all right, what are we putting out online? What are we putting out in traditional mediums? What are we putting out when we go organically and present, or our team presents the business idea to the community?
Right.
We will figure out what's that look like, what's it sound like, what's it stand for, what's its greater purpose.
Yeah.
Do we have a greater purpose? A lot of that. And then once we've done that review, we start taking inventory. What do we think still applies in today's market? What do we think could be improved upon? What do you think we should get rid of altogether and make room for other aspects? And then after that, and after we've come to the consensus of, okay, this is where we've been, this is how we need to evolve, then we build the pieces to evolve it. So if
Got
it's,
it.
okay, the website, the 30-page website from 5 years ago, it doesn't need to be that long these days because attention spans the
Mine is
SEO,
2 seconds. So
right, right, that's it. No, yeah. And as I give you a long-winded answer, but absolutely, it's we don't build until we know why and what we're building, and it's really through the eyes of your audience, not through your what you think it is. It's
Right.
that's critical, and we in all of that I kind of summarized it, but we do a little bit of audience survey and stuff like that if need be,
Yeah.
and all that good stuff.
Now, say for example, I would imagine that you have people come to you with different types of budgets. So
Mhm.
how do you finagle that? You know what I mean? So if somebody says, "Well, I only have this much amount of in my budget," how do you get the value out of that, even if they have a small budget? I don't know.
Right. No, so there's a couple ways. To kind of springboard off the small budget, if we are solutions providers, whether we're the one providing the solution
Hmm.
or we're giving an answer to help them get closer to a solution that makes sense for them. So if it's like a very small budget, in some cases we have a deep network of referral partners that I'll say, hey, you don't need to pay an agency right for this.
Yeah.
John over here does a phenomenal job for what you're looking for. In the case of it's in the case of everything else, it's really aligning their vision with their reality, our capabilities, and their budget, and somewhere in the middle is usually where it falls. That was how it was put to me
Yeah.
years ago by a really good business mentor out of Tennessee, believe it or not. But was like, your job isn't to convince them to buy. Your job is to find where reality, deliverables, and budget meet.
Yeah.
And so that is generally it's we don't have a formula. We don't have a formula. We have hourly rates and all that good stuff, but how that's applied really comes down to the concept and what the vision is and what it's trying to
Got it.
to accomplish in an
Got it.
identity.
Now, if what do you tell like the person that maybe have been just started a business, but maybe they're older and they're not used to like all the new
Right.
wave technology, things of that sort. How do you instill that you guys can still help them and they don't feel like a freak? You know what I mean?
No,
Because they can,
we don't act like we have all the answers.
yeah,
You know this because you've done this a long time. You've
mhm,
talked to a lot of businesses.
yeah,
The market changes. So anyone who's getting into it, whether they got into it this year or plan to get into it, don't be fooled by folks that think they have it all figured out. No one has it all figured right. We get
right,
this. What I tell them is we got to come up with a starting point for you. It's
okay,
okay. I mean, the the reality is, and particularly in the Wilmington market, it can be a transient market.
yeah,
It's a smaller market. We have a lot of folks that come and go from different areas, and that's kind of the beauty of it.
hmm,
Putting your hand on that pulse
yeah,
isn't always easy. So a group like us coming in and working through what that looks like for you, and I generally we do a lot of launch marketing for franchises. We will take that kind of approach. Like, well, let's define what does year one look like for you? What would be a goal? What would
mm,
be a win? And then based on that, we'll map out what needs to happen and all the logistics and all that good stuff.
yeah. Now, your agency is really, you talked a little bit about this earlier, but I would love it if you talk a little bit more. Is all about relationships and culture, deep
Right.
relationships and culture. So why does that matter so much in marketing, you think?
Well, I will say in some cases it doesn't. I mean, there are just pain point products that
Mm,
I would say aren't probably going to see the value on bonds I would do. So I want to clarify, it's not for every industry.
Okay.
Um, you know, but why it matters for the industries we work with, we do a lot in franchising, healthcare. It's because the businesses we work with are asking their audiences or their customers to give them not just their money, but their trust.
Yeah.
And it's hard to trust if you don't have a relationship. So
Yeah.
really what it comes down to is it's a sense of mutual respect. And we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves before we just start pushing the sale.
Yeah.
And whether that is through kind of optics or just more behavioral. So we do a lot into the behavioral science side and what needs to happen for people to feel like they've been heard.
Yeah.
Um, we have all different ways of doing it, but at the end of the day, it's businesses need to stand for more than just pushing the sale because
I
there's
agree
so
with
much
you.
competition
I
out
agree with
there, and the audience just deserves more. That's where
Yeah.
we stand.
Now, what type of customers do you guys usually work with? Is it just a certain? Is it just business? Is it entertainment people, or you work with anyone?
We have it runs the gamut.
Okay.
We have a lot of franchises we work with. We actually have a great group based out of here in Wilmington, Clean Eats. They're one of our
Mm,
oldest
love
running,
cleaners.
longest. They're amazing, and we've been honored to be by their side for brand and marketing for a long time. And their franchise has grown tremendously nationally. But we do a lot of other groups at the national level, but locally. If I was to go back in the last 5 years, I'd say we do quite a bit with nonprofit
Okay.
because at the end of the day they are asking for people to lean in closer to their story, to their values, so they need to tell that story. It's
Yeah.
and we can get into that later, but and then we do a lot in the healthcare space and a little bit in the retail space. Those are kind of, if I had to say locally, where we're getting most of our interest, and it's those areas. I'd say the nonprofit sector, healthcare and retail.
I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about that because connectcapefear.com, they're big advocates of like
Right.
community and helping the community. Is that pretty much what you all do as far as helping the community, or is there anything else
No,
that
that's
you
what
guys do?
resonated with me with
Yeah.
Connect Cape Fear was it's we do advertising and other mediums. Obviously, you have to. Um, but what I liked about this model was it wasn't just hard sale ads. It was, we're about building community. So whether it's a new, as you said, someone moving to town that wants to try their entrepreneurial,
Yeah.
try their entrepreneurial hook, helping them get started, or if it's a nonprofit
Hmm.
that is just needs a little extra boost in getting their story defined, updated, and out there.
Yeah.
That's what really resonated with us when we was like, this just stands for a little bit more than just, hey, we can build websites, logos, video
Right.
work. Like, of course we're going to do that and helping to distribute the story and capture the story. But the why
Mm.
the Cape Fear that this organization is about was really important to us. The why is the community and giving people a hand because they're our neighbors, not because they
Yeah.
have a budget.
Yeah. Now I'm going to get into your business a little bit, if you don't
Please.
mind.
Yeah, I'm an open book. That's our
But
bonsai's biggest downfall. I'm an open book.
no, I truly believe that people like to know about who they're working with, and
Right.
therefore they develop some kind of trust or thing. I promise it's not too bad.
No,
I just
good. Tell you
what
what I can't. What I
on
won't
on
do.
a personal level, what feeds your creativity? What do you do outside of all of this?
I'm in a barbershop quartet. I'm joking.
Oh
I
my gosh,
got people in
I
the
would
room.
love that actually.
I actually
No,
have a friend who is, and it's
okay.
that was a joke. I am not. So you were kind enough to give me say, hey Steve, here's kind of the direction, which I really appreciated that we'll go because I was a little nervous. I don't want to go in cold and not, but I've thought about this, and the reality is, outside of bonsai, I've always been a designer. I don't listen. I'm not going to be doing graphic design for the brands that we work with, but I will still. I love to write. I love to design, so I'll still do things on the side for myself. Whether it sees the light of day in anybody else's eyes is a whole nother story. And then I love drumming. I've always been a drummer. So I'm
Nice.
sharing that experience with my son now, who's an amazing drummer, and we have a set. Um, and I think it's just the mechanics of all that, whether it's writing, whether it's design or drumming, you're taking all these different things, rhythms and stuff, and
Hmm.
multiple, this arm's moving, this arm's moving, this way, and it's seeing it come together for one orchestrated piece. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that until I got older. I was like, why do I gravitate towards those things where cooking is another one? I love to cook, man. Every Sunday I
Nice.
do a big family dinner for my wife and kids, and it's
Yeah.
like I've realized as I gotten older, everything I really like involves many little multiple ingredients, different things being baked at a different coming together for a final product that people can enjoy together. So, uh, whether I articulate it or not, I would say those are my creative outlets: drumming,
Love it.
cooking,
Love it.
and all that good stuff.
So, okay. I'm always a big advocate of a whole bunch of different things, but I believe in sharing, or just shouting out people that help you along the way.
Right.
So, before we get into our last question,
Mhm.
uh, anybody you want to just say thank you to? Now, I don't want to put you on the spot because some people are like, "Oh my God, Demia, it's like 1,000 people." But anybody you
There
just want to
are.
say
I
quick
mean,
thank yous?
obviously, the man upstairs is a bit. I feel like I just won the Super Bowl. Wow, I don't know if people would care about Steve Bond. I've had a lot of mentors in and outside of this community,
Mhm.
and I'd be remiss not to say, I've worked with Brian Smith at Cornerstone and my friend, like, yeah, Clean Eats. That they're to me, it's fun when you come into a brand that you can see every week. I mean, this is a national brand, and you become friends with the people you're winning with.
Yeah.
So that they're very near and dear to our hearts. And there's a lot of other ones out there, groups like Brand One that have been great referral partners and become friends. To me, I'm not going to bore people by name drop. There's just a lot. There are a lot, and I feel I know I'm missing like dozens and dozens. We've been doing it for 17 years, and
Yeah.
I've been really fortunate to be surrounded and have people in my orbit that are just genuinely altruistic and want to help small businesses grow.
Nice.
And that's how we ended up here. So.
Nice. Now, anybody that's watching, if they want to get in touch with you, what's your like website, social media? How are they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so our website is bonsaionline.com. It's B as in boy, ONSEYE, like your eye, online.com. And that is a long URL. I'm sorry, guys. And then obviously we're on all the social handles through Bonsai online or Bonsai Marketing NC, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And then I have my own personal LinkedIn and so forth. So we're always a DM or a call away.
Hmm.
And the website has all the contact forms and all that good stuff. But that's the one thing we've really tried in our own personality, our own mind is like people deserve response.
Yeah.
That regardless of if it's like regardless of if it's a fit right now, they deserve acknowledgement. So
Yeah.
we really are good about getting back and getting back quickly. So you don't have to be wasting your time with us if it's not a good fit. So
Awesome.
got it.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share about bonsai marketing before we go?
My wife Sarah is yeah, she's awesome. She was a co-founder, came up with the name, and I gotta say, like the one thing that have asked us is how you guys have been married, yeah, for a
Yeah.
long time. How the heck do you work together? And
Mhm.
we were fortunate enough to meet on a job outside of bonsai decades ago. But she's the rock. I mean, she is. I'm the emotional energy, but she's
Yeah.
absolutely the rational. So I
Yeah.
do want to give a shout out to her. She couldn't be here today,
Awesome. Okay.
but we can't do it without her.
All right. All right. So listen, we want to thank Stephen Bond for coming in today with Bonsai Marketing. We're going to make sure that we put all his links at the bottom so that you can get to him fast because they're going to get back to you fast
Yeah.
about anything and everything that you need as far as their marketing services. And we are out of here. Talk to you later.